Hi, I'm Mac,
I'm Mike.
and this is More Than a Game.
Back out to Allen with his three-pointer. Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Today, talking to Coach Cam, he gave much great advice to young players like me and anyone looking to play college basketball.
So it was great having Coach Cam join us. He gave a lot of information that I think these young guys here can use. So it's always good to hear everyone's perspective who's been there, done that, and had a chance to play at a high level. And Coach Cam definitely did that. And I think this interview here, he definitely hit a home run with this one. So hope you guys enjoy it. Definitely leave a comment down below. Don't be afraid to subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Show this young man some support. And definitely we have more interviews coming. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoy this with Coach Cam Nichols from Saginaw Valley State.
Today, in More Than a Game, we have Coach Cam Nichols in the spotlight, and we're going to talk about how you doing? We're going to talk about his life, his college career, his high school career, and just more than a game. So today we're going to start off with you and how you are doing now after the game and just your personal life with basketball and what it has done for you. So, the first question is, what is your best memory in your whole career?
My best memory in my whole career playing-wise would have to be my last 2 games playing at Saginaw Valley. Wasn't playing much as a senior. I was playing behind an all-league guard. His name was Terrence Wright. He's from Saginaw. Dynamic player. I was playing behind him, so I didn't play that much. So our last 2 games, we were out of the playoffs. So our coach was like, I'm just going to roll with our seniors. And I think I went 12 from 20 from the 3.
Wow.
The last game I had 28 points. We beat our rival, Northwood. We swept them for the first time in 8 years, and it was a big deal because it was the last game of my career, and a lot of people still bump into me and remember that game because it was great. I was going crazy. They're like, man, we remember when you were going crazy against Northwood. So that and us winning the city championship in '98 are probably my 2 biggest basketball moments.
So, through your career, I'm sure you faced many hard challenges, but what would you say would be your biggest challenge of your career, and how did you get over that?
My career will probably be, I never was an in the spotlight guy. I never, I wasn't a 5-star. I wasn't heavily recruited. When I came to Saginaw Valley, I walked on. I played on a very good high school team. 6 of my teammates played Division I basketball. So I was the only one that played Division II. So the hardest thing for me was playing for coaches who didn't necessarily think that I was the main player. There were a lot of games I came off the bench. There were a lot of games I didn't play at all. And that was a hard adjustment early on in my career. I was able to, adjust and get through it. But it's tough. Being a walk-on isn't easy. It's going to be a lot of games where you're going to have a lot of DNPs and you don't play. And a lot of the times you get frustrated with yourself, but you really can't because at the end of the day, you're not a scholarship kid. So the hardest thing for me was getting over that hump and believing in myself that I could play. And whether I played 5 minutes or the whole game, I was going to play as hard as I could. But it's hard. It's hard getting to that point because, every ball player is going to play. And I wanted to play, and I just had to keep working. And when my opportunity came, I had to make the most of it.
So, saying that you walked on, and can you give me saying how frustrating it was and how you knew you could play and you could do certain things, but being you were young and you reacted certain ways, how was the whole walk-on experience? Like, can you go more into detail about that? How was just what made you choose to go to Saginaw Valley to walk on, and just how was that whole thing?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I went to Detroit Cass Tech, and we had a really good team my junior and senior year. I wasn't getting recruited at all. So actually my very last game that I played against King in the district final, the coach at Saginaw Valley was there. He just happened to be standing next to my dad. My dad was the AD of these Detroit public schools at the time. And he was like, who is 15? He's like, he's a pretty good kid. I said, do you have good grades? He said, yeah, he's got 3.7. I said, oh, did he pass ACT? Yeah, he passed ACT. He's like, man, he might as well bring him up to campus. He was like, okay, who are you here to watch? I said, oh, I'm here to watch number 10. Well, number 10 was going to Toledo. So my dad was like, you're not getting number 10. He's a Division I player. Like, you might as well give my son a look. He was like, I'll give him a look, bring him up to campus. So when I came up to campus, I worked out with the guys. I liked it. He said I would have an opportunity to play. I wouldn't have an opportunity to get a scholarship going on because they had a bunch of seniors. But he was like, you can come on. You can be a part of the team. You can walk on. I got a chance to practice and do everything with the team, dressed at all the games. It was just up to the coach's discretion of whether I was going to play or not.
Yeah.
And I wasn't on scholarship, so that meant that my parents had to pay for the tuition and pay for the room and board.
Yeah.
Since I had high academics, I got a lot of academic money. So I got the Rosa Parks Scholarship, I got the Tony Clark Scholarship, I got a scholarship from Jiu-Jitsu, and it was up to the coach to tell me, look, you got to bust your tail, and maybe at the end of the year, there's an opportunity for you. And lucky for me, I busted my tail. I got the Most Improved Player Award my first 2 years, and the coaches brought me in and said they wanted to put me on scholarship, but it was not easy. I mean, I didn't play at all. I mean, I probably played a combined 15 minutes that whole season.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm out playing some of the seniors in practice. I'm beating them in sprints, and I think I should be playing. But you don't play a walk-on before a senior.
Yeah.
And that's just things you don't really understand until you get into coaching, until you leave, your certain situation. I didn't understand that until I started coaching. It's like, you're not playing a walk-on over a senior. You're not playing a walk-on over a scholarship player unless they're just head and tails better than the next.
Yeah.
So that was an adjustment for me, but that's basically how walking on goes.
So, being that you played on multiple levels, you played in the collegiate level, what would you say is your specialty, or what were you the best at?
Shooting.
Shooting?
Shooting.
How did you become the best at shooting?
I shot every day. I mean, every day. I mean, there wasn't a day that I didn't shoot. So, like, I had a rim in my backyard. So I used to shoot, like, every day. I would go on my rain, sleet, or snow. I would go outside, and whether it was 10 shots, 20 shots, 100 shots, I would just shoot. But I think I became a really good shooter because of confidence. Like, when I was in high school, like, I never shot. Like, I never shot a 3 in high school, like, not one. But I was the best shooter in the school. Like, everybody in the school knew I could shoot. But I didn't shoot a 3 because if I shot and missed, I was coming out the game, hands down. If I shot and I missed, I was coming out the game. So the transition of my jump shooting ability came with confidence. Where when I got to college, I was like, you know what? I'm shooting because I know it's going in. And I got that confidence because I know that people don't get mad when you miss. They don't. When you shoot and you make it, they're going to be like, good shot, my man. Way to shoot it. You can shoot it from half court. LaMelo shot a shot from half court and went in. Everybody was like, oh, man, that was a great shot. No, man, it was an awful shot. But he made it. But you got to have high-level confidence if you want to be a high-level shooter. So for me, once I became a high-level shooter, is when I became highly confident in my shot, that every time that I shot it, it was going in. But, I mean, it was just shooting every day. I mean, shooting in the mirror. I mean, laying in the bedroom, tossing the ball up, like shooting was just on my mind all the time. And I always thought that I could be the best shooter around. And having that confidence and that work ethic, that's what, changed the game for me.
So, looking back now on your whole career, was there a moment or is there something that you could go back right now and tell yourself and go back and change to just kind of change the outcome of everything that's going on now?
Actually, to be quite honest with you, I don't have any regrets of my career. Not a single regret. Like, I enjoyed the process. Me having the struggle made me the type of person that I am. It actually made me want to coach and coach players who are going through that situation. But for me, I wouldn't change a thing. And the reason why I wouldn't change a thing is because I worked as hard as I could completely do. And everything, the ball was placed in my court. So whether I played a lot, whether I started every game, whether I got it all the minutes, it didn't matter because I put in the work. Now, the guys that have the regrets, like I have a friend of mine that has a lot of regrets, but he didn't have the work ethic either. We have a mutual friend who plays in the NBA, Willie Green. Willie Green grew up on the same street I grew up on Maryland, in between 7 Mile and Curtis. So you got an NBA player that lives right down the street from me. It's easily for them to say, why did he make the NBA and I didn't? Well, I never thought like that, but I have friends who do, that play basketball like, man, I was better than Willie. I did this, and it's like, no, you didn't. Like, his cards aren't your cards. You got to play your cards. So for me, I never had an issue over my career about, oh, could I change this or change that? Because I worked as hard as I could work. And when you work as hard as you can work, you're able to be good with the outcome. So even though I didn't have a great college career. I mean, I did average 10 points a game for a season. It's not a whole lot of people that can say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have a chance to play overseas, so I did that. You know, I played in the IBL for 2 seasons. So, I mean, I had a great career. I played with some great players, so I don't have any regrets because I worked as hard as I can work. And the guys who have regrets could have worked harder. And for me, it wasn't about work ethic.
So could you go in a little more into depth in how playing the IBL was? Like, can you give me your overall experience and how was that?
Okay, so when I got out of college, I started coaching at Delta College. While I was here, I was out of eligibility, so I just started coaching. And it wasn't because I wanted to be a coach either. It was because I needed something to do before I graduated.
Yeah.
And in that time, I wanted to play. And I knew I had a good enough jump shot to get paid to play basketball. I mean, that's just how confident I was in my shots. Like, I should be getting paid to play basketball, to stand in the corner somewhere and make threes. But this is before, like, you know, ball screens and shooting threes in the corner. Like, this before it was, like, really, like, prevalent like that, where shooters were at a high premium because it worked.
Yeah.
Like, in today's game, I'd probably still be playing in today's game because I could just stand in the corner, somebody come off a ball screen, I shoot it, and you know, it's all net. But back when I played, shooters it wasn't like that. It was more of an inside-out game. Guys my size usually played the point guard position. I'm about like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
So it was just harder for me to get shots the way the game was played at that time. But playing in the IBL, it gave me the opportunity to extend my career.
Yeah.
So it was a semi-pro league that played in the spring. So the thing about playing in the spring is you have some guys from overseas who come back home who want to still stay in shape and play, and then you have other players who are trying to extend their career. And I was able to use that game film or those games that I was playing to send to an agent to say, okay, if you have the opportunity to sign me, would you? I wasn't able to sign with an agent, but I was able to go to Austria, and I played there for like 3 or 4 months on like a little tour of their country because of my success in the IBL.
So going into coaching now, being that you're a college coach at Saginaw Valley State University,
Yes,
what would you
sir.
say for your students is the biggest adjustment from high school to college?
The biggest adjustment from high school to college would have to be the physicality of the game and the speed of the game. So we have freshmen. Actually, we have one of the best freshmen in the conference. He's third in the league in scoring. He's averaging 18.5 points per game. And the reason why he can perform at a high level is because physically, he came in 200 pounds already. I mean, he's 6'3", 200 pounds. And in the summer, he was able to, get workouts in with our trainers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So before he even stepped foot on campus, he was ready to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that doesn't happen for a lot of freshmen because it's the physicality of the game. Like if your body isn't ready to play against, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-olds, you're going to struggle as a freshman. That's Division I, Division II. I mean, that's no matter where you go. Only the elite players that are freshmen, they come in ready to play, but half the time their body is able to ready to play. They've already been lifting weights. They've already had training. But that's the biggest adjustment is just having your body ready for that kind of game because, you will get checked. I mean, there's a difference between playing against 16, 17, 18-year-olds and playing against guys that's in their 20s. Because they're stronger, they're faster, and there are just things that they're not going to allow you to do. And unless your body is ready for that, it's going to be a hard adjustment for you. So I try to tell a lot of high school kids, and it's not even really about lifting weights. It's about having your body ready to lift weights. So, whatever your weight is to be eating right, to be doing push-ups, to be doing sit-ups. You don't necessarily have to be pushing 150, 60 pounds on a bench press, but you do have to be ready for when it comes.
So would you say that's what players that come into college have to work on the most, or that's what they struggle with the most?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we had a freshman this year who his just body just wasn't ready for competition. And if your body isn't ready, you're behind the 8 ball. So of course you want to come in and play, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to come in and play, you have to be ready to come in and play, which means your body has to be ready to come and play. So point and blank. So tomorrow at 6 a.m. in the morning, we have weights. So right after weights, we have practice. Right after practice, we have study hall. Right after study hall, we have workouts. Right after workouts, you have class. So, and that's a regular Monday.
Yeah.
So it's a huge adjustment for freshmen just to get ready for the scheduling wise. So it's like, man, when do I work on my game? When do I do homework? When am I doing my papers?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able for time management along with your body being able to ready for that rigor, because it's tough. I mean, you're going to be tired, you're going to be worn out, and you're going to hit a wall.
Yeah.
But unless your body is ready for that, and mentally, you have to be ready for it too. Unless you have the mentality to say, you know what, I came here to do what I came here to do, I mean, you're going to be behind. So I would say that that's a huge adjustment for freshmen that they have to make.
So being a coach and seeing the total aspect of everybody and seeing everyone on the court and seeing how they play, what is the biggest thing you look for when you're recruiting a player?
When I'm recruiting, I don't care what position I'm recruiting, you have to be able to shoot the ball. I mean, period. You know, there are guys that my dad always told me there's always a place for a guy that can shoot. And at the end of the day, he was right. So if you can't shoot, that tells me a little bit about, you know, your game. Now, are you really working on your game that much if you just can't shoot? So I look at guys who can shoot, guys who can defend, especially guards. So I do a lot of work with the guards as far as the workouts, and in practice I work with the guards a lot. So if I'm recruiting a guard, and there's 2 things that you have to be able to do. You have to be able to shoot, and you have to be able to defend. And if you can't do those 2 things, I'm looking at the next guy. Just be quite frank with you. If there's other positions like forwards and centers and things of that sort, I mean, being able to defend and playing it with a high motor. Like right now, playing with a motor is, a lot of people say that they do, but they don't. So like playing hard is an attribute now. It really shouldn't. Like every basketball player should play hard when they touch the court, but they don't. So when I'm recruiting and I see a guy that every time I see him, he plays hard, he's going to rise up my board. The thing that, you know, student athletes don't really understand about playing college basketball is that there are 5 MAC man cells all over the country. You know, they're 5 in Michigan, they're 5 in Illinois, they're 5 in Ohio. But what separates you from the other 5? What separates the guy that's your height, your build, your skill ability? He might even have better grades. What separates you from that next guy? Because I'm going to tell you like this. I see thousands of 6-foot guards. I see a bunch of them. I get an email every day from a 6-foot guard. He's averaging 15 points per game. What separates him from the other 10 guys that emailed me yesterday? Well, it's going to be toughness. It's going to be, you know, the level of competition he's playing. A lot of times it's going to be, are they their build? Are they 150 pounds? Are they 180 pounds? How good of a student is he? I mean, there are a lot of things that come into play when I'm recruiting. But the main two is you got to be able to shoot and you got to be able to check. And you got to be able to do both. Like if you can check, but you can't shoot, or you can shoot but can't check, I'm going to find a guy that can do both. And a lot of times guards don't understand how much being able to defend will separate yourself from the pack. Because like I said, I can name you 5 6-foot guards in the class of 2019 right now. But what separates one from the other is their ability to defend and shoot the ball.
So, as a coach, what would you say is the most challenging thing that you have to face with either your players or just having to be around the players all the time? What is the most challenging thing?
The most challenging thing about coaching college basketball is time management. Being able to, you know, spend time with your family, being able to spend time with your student athletes, being able to spend time with your fellow coaches. Time management is huge. I went to a conference in Chicago over the summer. And Pat Summit, Gino Auriemma, it was a lot of high-level coaches in this conference. And a lot of these coaches mentioned having troubles with their family and with them coaching. And I learned that I don't want to be that coach that neglects my family to win a few championships or for a better job or for another game.
Yeah.
I try to keep those sacrifices to a minimum. So there are things that my wife understands that I'm going to have to do, but there are some times that I'm just going to be selfish and just say, you know what, I'm not going to recruit today. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to pick my son up from school, and I'm going to play with him. So it's a point for me to say, you know what, I'm not going to let coaching dictate me spending time with my family and the people that I care about. But it's very hard to do because my schedule is extremely busy with recruiting, with scouting, with practices, with games. But it's very difficult to do because there are a lot of coaches that can't do it, and they will pick their profession over their family, and that's just not something that I'm going to do.
So we're down to our last question, and
Yes.
could you explain to me how is life after basketball? After you stop playing basketball, you're starting to settle down as a coach. You have a family now. You have kids, and just how is life after the game?
Well, really, for me, I don't look at it as life after the game. My life is the game. So I fix my life around the game of basketball, if that makes sense.
Yes.
My faith and my family in basketball is all in one. So to me, I don't think that at first, when I was in college, I used to think, man, what am I going to do when the basketball stops bouncing? And the one thing that I realize is it only stops bouncing if you stop dribbling. So for me, I'm always going to have basketball in my life.
Yeah.
So whether I'm a coach, whether I'm a referee, I referee 2 times a week just because I like to be involved with the game.
Yeah.
Whether I'm a scout, there's always going to be a point in my life where basketball is going to be involved. So for me, there is no life after the game.
Yeah.
It's just the game is going to change. So when I was in college, I was a player.
Yeah.
So now that I leave college, I was a professional player for a short period of time. I was.
Yeah.
And now I'm a coach. So now, life is different now because I'm a coach. But the ball hasn't stopped for me. I mean, I still work up the game. I still get on the gun. I still, play in men's leagues and things of that sort. So when I'm unable to play, it might change a little bit. I'm not always going to be around in the game. If I wasn't a coach, I'd probably be a scout, or I'd probably be a referee, or I'd probably be a scorekeeper somewhere. This basketball is going to be a part of my life. I mean, it's just something. It's a part of me. It's part of who I am. That's why when I introduce myself, I'm Coach Cam because I'm a coach. It's my lifestyle. So there is no life after the game. It's just it might be different aspects of my life where I use the game because now I'm not playing. I don't have eligibility. I'm coaching. But if you take that approach, because I love it, I generally love basketball because it's done great things for me. So I know that there's no life after basketball for me because basketball is my life.
Well, once again, I want to say thank you for sitting down with me today. This is
You're
Coach
welcome.
Cam in the spotlight. Are there any last comments you'd like to make or anything you'd like to say to me or the general audience?
The only thing that I would like to say to the general audience, for those that are watching this podcast and this video, especially for the student athletes, is the academic portion of being a student athlete is huge. So if you're in high school, make sure you're taking the correct courses to graduate. Make sure you're taking the SAT. Make sure you're taking the SAT, the ACT, and be prepared for college because if you wait until your junior and senior year, you're waiting too long. And I've seen a lot of student athletes who try to wait to their senior year to quote unquote get things right, and it's damaged their life.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I would like to say to student athletes is academics is huge. So when you go to college, make sure that you're taking a degree in something that you're comfortable with doing. So like for yourself, when you go to college, you might be playing college basketball, but you also might want to, study in communications. So after your playing career is over, you can be a TV analyst and you can be on ESPN and things of that sort. But if you're not taking the correct courses to do that, then you're wasting your time there. So when you get to college, get your degree so you can have a good life and, things will go from that sort.
Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you. I'm Mac from More Than a Game, and this is Coach Cam in the Spotlight.